Have you ever found yourself sitting in the quiet stillness of an evening, a fleeting thought drifting through your mind like a soft breeze? You ask yourself, perhaps with a touch of hesitation or even a hint of wonder. Is it still normal? Should I even be feeling this way, at my age? It might arrive as a subtle spark, a moment of unexpected attraction when you lock eyes with someone across a room, or a lingering sense of closeness that feels both familiar and brand new. It is a desire for connection that goes beyond the surface, a hunger not just for companionship, but for a depth of intimacy that touches the soul. And then, as quickly as it appears, a second thought follows, pulling you back. Is this something I've outgrown? Is it even appropriate to feel this anymore? If that question has ever whispered through your mind, know this: you are far from alone. In fact, it is one of the most common, yet deeply unspoken, questions among those navigating the vibrant chapters of life after 60. We have been conditioned, somewhere along the way, to believe that desire is a fire that belongs only to the young. We are told that it fades, that it cools into indifference, and that it eventually flickers out. But the honest truth? It might just surprise you. The first truth is simple: desire does not disappear. It transforms. In the impulsive years of youth, desire is often a wildfire, fast, intense, and fueled by the raw energy of physical attraction. But as we grow into the wisdom of our later years, that flame shifts. It becomes more like a steady, glowing hearth. It is quieter, yes, but also more deliberate, more thoughtful, and inextricably linked to the landscape of the heart. It is no longer defined solely by what you see, it is defined by what you truly feel. Richard, 69, once shared a reflection that resonates with many: I don't feel things the way I did when I was 30. That urgency has faded, but what I feel now is deeper, calmer, and infinitely more real. It isn't just a rush of blood anymore, it's an alignment of souls. That is the discovery many make: desire evolves, it does not end. The second shift to understand is that emotional connection becomes the bedrock of everything. Have you ever found yourself sitting in the quiet stillness of an evening, a soft, lingering thought tugging at the back of your mind? You might be sipping tea, watching the shadows lengthen across the room, when a sudden, unexpected emotion surfaces, a feeling you thought you had tucked away in the chapters of your youth. Then, the inner critic wakes up. You ask yourself, is it still normal to feel this way, at my age? It might be a brief spark of attraction that catches you off guard. Or perhaps a gentle, persistent ache for closeness. A yearning not just for companionship, but for a connection that resonates in the soul, a desire to be truly seen and understood by someone else. Then, the doubt creeps in: should I even be feeling this anymore? Is this just a ghost from the past? If that question has ever haunted the hallways of your mind, please know this: you are not walking this path alone. In truth, this is one of the most universal, yet rarely articulated, experiences for those navigating life beyond 60. We live in a society that subtly, and sometimes bluntly, teaches us that desire belongs exclusively to the young. We are told it fades like a sunset, that it belongs to the past, and that eventually, it simply vanishes. But the honest, liberating truth may surprise you. It doesn't disappear, it matures. The first truth is that desire is not a finite resource that runs dry, it is an evolving landscape. In our younger years, desire often arrives like a storm, fast, intense, and fueled by the raw electricity of physical attraction. It is a fire that burns bright and loud. But as the years add layers of wisdom to our lives, that flame changes. It becomes quieter, more thoughtful, and deeply intertwined with the complexity of our emotions. It is no longer tethered strictly to the visual, it becomes about the depth of the resonance you feel with another human being. Richard, 69, once shared this reflection: "I don't feel things the way I did at 30, and I'm grateful for that. The fires of my youth were chaotic. What I feel now is deeper, calmer, and infinitely more real. It isn't less, it's more grounded." This is the secret many discover: desire does not reach an expiration date. It merely transforms into a more profound frequency. The second truth is that emotional intimacy becomes the bedrock of everything. When you pass the threshold of 60, the superficial games of the past lose their luster. You find yourself less interested in the fleeting and more invested in the essential. You begin to value the architecture of a soul, understanding, trust, the profound comfort of a shared silence. When those pillars are in place, desire doesn't just return, it flows naturally from that safety. As Mary, 72, put it so beautifully, "When someone actually listens to me, when they take the time to really hear what's behind my words, I feel a stir in my heart that I can't quite explain. It's like being seen for the first time in years." That spark, that sense of being fully known, is often the truest foundation for connection in this stage of life. Thirdly, we must acknowledge that while the body undergoes its own natural evolution, it remains a vessel of profound sensitivity. Yes, physical responses may shift their pace, and the energy that once drove us may recalibrate. However, there is a trade-off. We often become more acutely aware of the nuances of our own skin, our breath, and our presence. We become more present. We stop rushing toward a destination and start savoring the journey. In this slowed-down state, the capacity for pleasure often deepens, becoming richer and more resonant than it ever was in the frantic days of our youth. The fourth truth is that many seniors carry this silent burden, believing it is inappropriate to speak of such things. People often bottle these feelings up, questioning their validity, sometimes even feeling a sting of embarrassment for having them. But when the walls of silence are finally broken, the realization that follows is powerful: you are not an anomaly. These feelings are shared, they are beautiful, and they are entirely, undeniably natural. The fifth point is that desire becomes more intentional. In our younger years, attraction was often a reaction, a momentary impulse. Later in life, it becomes a choice. You are drawn to people who provide a sanctuary of safety, respect, and mutual understanding. This selectivity isn't a loss of ability, it is a gain in clarity. You finally know what matters, and you are no longer willing to settle for anything less. Sixth, remember that desire is a direct reflection of your emotional vitality. It is a living, breathing signal that you are still deeply plugged into the current of life. It means you are still open, still vulnerable, and still capable of experiencing something meaningful. Do not question this vibrancy. Do not suppress it. Instead, hold it with the dignity it deserves. Finally, hear this: there is nothing unusual about still feeling the hum of desire as you age. It does not mean you are out of step with your time, it means you are profoundly, beautifully human. It is proof that you remain a being capable of connection, warmth, and the pursuit of something real. So, take a quiet moment today to reflect. Have you judged yourself for these echoes of longing? Or are you, perhaps, beginning to see them in a new, softer light? We would be honored if you shared your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective might be the very thing someone else needs to read to feel a little less alone. If this message brought you comfort or a sense of clarity, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. Your support allows us to keep cultivating a space for dignity, understanding, and meaningful connection. And if you know someone who might find peace in these words, please pass this along to them. Sometimes, the most life-changing truths are the ones we've been quietly wondering about all along. Thank you for being here with us. We'll see you in our next conversation.